Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
Just give me a
okay.
moment. The internet.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I just had a question for Bill Clegg. I didn't hear his introduction.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I think Dick did some of it. So I've been a commercial interior design and architectural lead, if you will, in the Hartford area for the last 40 years or more, working at JCJ, Schoenhardt Architects, Fletcher Thompson, STV, LPMs. So since I was probably about 16 years old, I think all I've been doing is something in construction. So
Yeah. Bill is a Simsbury resident, and he's been, I remember him from Schoenhardt Architects here in Simsbury, and Bill was a very, very active member of Schoenhardt's, and in fact, did some work for the town, as a matter of fact. I think down in Eno and some other places that we had Schoenhardt.
You know, Bill, that Rich just celebrated his Richard Schoenhardt 92nd birthday.
And did you know he had a bear in his living room the other day?
Did he get it?
He used air horns to get it out, but he was taking a nap in his living room. And
let's move on to our public business.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, I gotta get this.
Well, welcome aboard, Bill.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Okay. All right. Moving on. There's no audience to talk. Nobody needs to speak. We'll move on to our next thing. The minutes of August 8th. We have a problem here, and I want to talk to you about this first, and somebody's going to have to make a motion. We cannot accept the minutes that we have of August 8th as they are. But if you go to page 4, if you have them in front of you, go to page 4.
Yeah.
Item C, O&G report.
Yeah.
If you go down the bottom, the second sentence from the bottom, you have reconciliation performed with PAX, P-A-X. It's not P-A-X, it's P-A-C-S.
What is it?
It's PAX, P-A-C-S.
Oh, okay. Is it all caps?
It's all caps, and it's PAX.
Okay.
Then you go to the bottom line, and you said estimator, and they were 8.3% apart. It should be 1.38.
0.38% apart.
1.38.
1.38. Okay.
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 O&G, is that right? Mark? Okay, you got his finger up? Okay. All right.
Correct.
So without corrections, can we have a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So moved. Second.
Who's doing it? I'm sorry. Who did it?
I think Bud Kelly made the motion.
Kelly.
Oh, Bud Kelly. Oh, there he is. Okay, Bud Kelly had moved the motion. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second. Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, Jason, I guess we're okay to make those changes and get them down to the town clerk. Those two changes. Okay, moving on, Ladder Lane renovations. Our first comments are from Jack John Jones. Where are you? Oh, there he is over in the corner.
Here we are.
Okay. Arcadis, let's hear from you.
Okay. Well, as reflected in our monthly report, we were successful in having our plan review meeting with the state on schedule. We reported last month that the grant commitment letter has finally arrived from the state, so we're all set with that. Mark will give us an update on the bidding on phase 1, as well as the trajectory of phase 2, the renovation work. We did have a bit of a delay in having our plan review meeting. That the state rescheduled it on us, and then after the meeting, it was taking a little bit longer than originally anticipated to get the approval to bid letter, which arrived just this morning. So Mark is now planning to hit the street tomorrow with the phase 2 bids, and he can talk about more detail there.
Talk about that when we talk to O&G. Okay.
Yep. So overall, design right now is shifting gears into the bid period. Justin can touch on activities there. But the good news is that we were able to get through our scope review meetings for the material procurement effort and the roofing procurement effort. And I know Mark has an update on that. So critical activities this month are the award of the early packages. We received our approval to go out to bid. And then ultimately, with the information of the bids coming in, we have the likelihood of a funding adjustment and the path forward to a second referendum for the additional funds.
Jack, you said you already approved some bids to be started?
No,
We
the
haven't
critical
seen it.
items for the committee to work on is the award of the early packages, the phase one, the procurement effort.
Yeah, but we haven't seen those.
Right, Mark has that in his package for tonight. And then we received information from Board of Ed this afternoon regarding the timeline for approvals for the review
Well, I
meeting.
won't talk about that. But I'm talking about what we said that we have approved and have actually retained some engineers or.
No, I'm saying that is among the critical activities we need to do this month, and Mark has a report on that as part of his update as well.
Okay. Any questions?
Jack, Richard Durr, I just wanted to either talk with you or talk with someone on the design team to make sure that as we're going out to bid at some point, whether it be this month or next month, that the operating windows that we spoke about 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago have been included in the design for the school.
That's not our decision, John. Rich, we went through this before. That decision is the Board of Education decision. They make that decision, not us. We just build whatever they want. We can't tell
I
them
didn't
what
think
to
that
do.
was the case.
We
I
mentioned
thought
it,
that's,
not our decision, it's theirs.
Jason, we had, or maybe your memory of the conversation or the meeting is different. There was a discussion about that, and I believe someone on the design team said that they were going to include those windows. Jason, Casey,
I can look. Yeah, I can look back. I don't have that.
We talked about it, but I don't think the Board of Education approved it.
Hey, Dad, how are you?
Good, listen, I'm on it.
Let's let Justin speak to that if we could.
I can tell you that in the drawing package, as far as
Okay.
I don't,
Love you.
that interference is not coming from my microphone. For the exterior building envelope portion of the drawing package, we do have window replacements as part of that per previous discussions at the PBC level. We do have operable windows that are built into a portion of the exterior windows for the classrooms. Yes.
so is there an operating window in every classroom is the question,
Yes.
I guess. There
Correct.
is. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you
Good.
very much for making that clear.
Very good. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions of Arcadis? Okay, hearing none, we'll accept that. Let's move on to the next one would be Tecton.
Good evening, Justin Hopkins, Tecton Architects. I should have introduced myself when we were going around and answering. So welcome, Mr. Clegg,
No,
to
that's
the
good.
BBC. My update, or Tecton's update, is more or less we have been going through the early procurement phase 1 of 3 bid packages. So responding to any bid RFIs, attending scope sessions, so that Mark from O&G will be able to update everybody on the bids that were received for the 5 early bid packages. Again, those were roofing, switchgear purchase, generator purchase, ductile iron piping purchase, and underground detention system purchase.
Right.
We have also, as Jack had mentioned, went through a very, very thorough OSCGNR pre-bid conformance review. As Jack had mentioned, it was a pretty lengthy review, primarily because a new member of the OSCGNR team was introduced as part of our PCR, and we went through all of the documents that have been submitted for this particular project, including those as part of the grant application, the schematic design review application, design development review application, and this PCR. So along with those approvals, as a prerequisite, as we mentioned at our last meeting, We have received fire marshal approval, Simsbury fire marshal approval, Simsbury building official approval, and Farmington Valley Health Department approval. So in addition to the formal actions that the PBC and the BOE took, we also received those regulatory approvals. So we included that for everyone's record as part of our update, as well as one of the PCR checklist items, which is the architect scope review letter, which is an 8-page document primarily summarizing everything that's included, a written narrative of the scope of work and some of the procurement methods, as well as allowances that O&G are building in to the overall bid packages. So as Jack had mentioned, we received our approval to bid letter this morning. So that initiates the bid period, and O&G will be able to speak to that in more detail.
Right. Well, we have a list there. We'll go through that in a minute. That came to us from the town, from actually the town manager. We'll go through that in a few minutes, but I wanted to go through our suppliers first. Okay, any other questions of Tecton? Well, when you say bid package 1 through 5, we're gonna do, do we know who they are and what they are, the numbers on that, or what? You just got
Yes.
estimates. You haven't got bids on those yet, right?
We have hard bids, and that is part of O&G's report. In general, I would say we listed in the estimate values versus in general, the bids that we received in the early procurement were approximately 9 to 10% below what the estimated values were.
Oh, okay.
Now that is not predictive of the upcoming bid, the primary
Let's
bidding
talk
that we're
about
going to do.
what we already bid.
Yes.
5 items.
Yep.
Okay. Now, when you say you had some under your budget that you folks can you tell us which ones they were? Like bid number 1, the roofing, did that come in under budget or above budget?
All of them came in below the budget values that were assigned in the most recent estimate. So, Mark, do you mind if I'm kind of getting into your territory here, O&G, but I can say in general, the roofing bid package came in approximately $127,000 under budget. The switchgear purchase came in approximately $34,000 under budget. The generator came in approximately $17,000 under budget. The ductile iron piping purchase came in $6,800 under budget. And the underground detention system came in approximately $17,000.
Okay, so these are the numbers on your sheet that you have here. Okay.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions? All right, hearing none, let's move on. Next is O&G, right?
Hey, this is Mark Zidensky from O&G.
Yeah, Mark.
Can everyone hear me? Okay. So as I sent out Thursday with your packet, can't share my screen. I was going to try to share my screen, but bids for early procurement, which were roofing, material and labor, switchgear procurement, which was the switchgear panel boards and some dry transformers, ductile iron pipe, and the underground detention system were received on August 25th. I held scope reviews with roofing, switchgear, and generator. And then internally we reviewed and had phone verifications with the bidders for the material, the commodity material. Silktown Roofing was, and I've included in my packet recommendation letters. We did scope both Silktown Roofing and Greenwood Roofing. We received 2 bids. Again, an existing John Mansfield roof. Most of the roof is staying, so we knew we weren't going to get a lot of bids. We figured we'd get maybe 1 or 2 more, but we got the 2 bidders we wanted. I'll leave it at that. Silktown Roofing was the low at $1,308,000. We met with them, the engineer, the architect, the owner's rep, and we were comfortable with their scope of work, that they had everything and they saw the job the way we saw it. I included in your packet a generator purchase listing Custom Electric. And I have to say, since I sent that out, what I did with the generator purchase, if you look on the second page of the packet where it shows the bid results, once we scoped the two low bidders for the generator purchase, one was Custom Electric, and then one was Huntington Power. And when we met with them, Custom Electric was carrying rigging, which I had asked them to carry. I'd asked them to have the generator and ATS shipped to a rigger's yard, a local Connecticut warehouse, so it could be inspected before it's brought out to the site. They did include that in their base bid. Huntington Power did not.
No,
The
right.
letter that I sent, go ahead. Okay, the letter that I sent to you, I included a $5,500 charge for Huntington Power for the rigger. I've since received a quote, and it's not $5,500, it's $1,380. So I'm going to rescind my recommendation letter for Custom Electric, and I'm going to recommend Huntington Power. It's a couple $1,000s cheaper at the end of the day. They both provided a specified, listed product. Custom was Detroit Diesel, and Huntington Power is Generac. They're both acceptable. It's just a matter of saving a couple $1,000s.
Yep.
Mark, one quick thing. The total that you have on the letter for Huntington, does it include in it that rigging quote that you received?
The total that this board has does not. The total, if I could share on my screen, would.
No, right. The updated letter that you sent just today.
The updated letter I sent today has the correct total,
Including the rigging on it.
including the rigging.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for clarifying.
Yes.
The rigging. Okay. Yep.
So that would be here, the rigging.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Back to cover page. We also received bids for, I apologize here, going too fast. We also received bids for switchgear. We got coverage. We got 3 bids, 2 from electrical contractors, 1 from an electrical supplier. I found out during this, it's a relatively new way of bidding. A lot of the electrical suppliers, they don't want to get the electrical contractors mad. So they did not bid to us. We did, though, get 3 bids, certainly 3 competitive bids. And the low bid was Custom Electric at $319,700. We did a scope review with the contractor, architect, and engineer of record, and we feel that Custom Electric, has a specified product, and we would recommend that we move forward with them. Same with Ductile iron piping. We received 4 or 5 bids. Core and Main came in at $26,677 and 72 cents. Again, these suppliers are not used to this public bidding, so there was a little bit of hand-holding, a lot of phone calls, but we did certainly get good coverage and got plenty of bids on that. My internal O&G site estimating reviewed all the quotes, and we feel that Core and Main has the correct ductile iron piping that we could release. Underground detention system, somewhat interesting, both Core and Main in Ferguson. We got 4 bids on that. Core and Main and Ferguson Waterworks submitted an exact same bid down to the penny.
Yeah. Good God, look at that.
I talked to both of them as well as the manufacturer's representative. The manufacturer's representative did confirm with me that they do not provide preferential pricing to any of their vendors. So everybody pays the same thing. Core and Main and Ferguson are going to pay the same thing from the manufacturer. It is the basis of design. They both looked at it the same way, carried the same parts and pieces, and put the same markup on it. Exact same bid. They are both very reputable suppliers. They both have, from what I can tell in my research the last couple of days, they both will sell to O&G with no issue. So it's really a toss-up of who to select. They're both apples to apples. One is not better than the other.
Yeah, but you're the CM. You're the one that makes the choice and who does the work. You have to verify the fact that they can do the work. You have to verify that they have the qualifications to do the project. And whichever one you want, that's your choice, not ours.
Okay, so I will essentially, if you approve me to award to one of them,
Yeah.
go ahead. Who's talking?
But
If you,
I'll be quite honest with you, I ran into this once on a bid where we were tied. It was a state of Connecticut bid. And we actually went down to the state office building and flipped a coin. So I think what happens is if you view that both of them are qualified, probably the fairest way to do it.
Right.
so I went in.
But it's your
I
job,
went to the
it's your
same
job,
issue.
Mark, to do that, not ours. I mean, you have to tell us what you're doing here, but as far as making a selection, that's your decision, not ours. Because you have to
Okay.
control it. You have to make sure they do the work properly. You have to, go through the whole project with them to say that they do A and did they do A? And they're supposed to do B, did they do B? I mean, these things are your responsibility as a construction manager. I'm sure you know that. ONG's done this before.
I understand that, and I did go through this issue before in a roofing bid in Waterbury. Same issue. Both contractors were called into a room and a coin was flipped. Somebody walked away happy. Somebody walked away sad.
Right.
So if you approve me to award to one of them tonight, I will get with.
That's your job. You come back and tell us what you did. That's your business, not ours. We can't
I
tell
will
you
flip
who
a coin.
The only point
So that-
that I might make is, since Core and Main is doing other work, does it make any sense that they get some additional work? That it makes the coordination easier.
With this, it's really a commodity. They're
Yes.
materials. We're buying this stuff. It's like whether you go into Lowe's and buy the 2x4 or to Home Depot and buy the 2x4.
Right.
I mean, that's a simplified way of saying it, but it's just material. They're supplying material. We're going to turn it over to the site contractor in the phase 2 bid. He's going to take possession of that and install it. So it's really just a purchase.
Sounds like
That's
flipping
it.
the coin is probably the best way to go.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a practice.
Leave that up to Mark. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, Dick, if I could chime in just for
Go
a
ahead,
second.
Jack.
Mark has been doing, the appropriate due diligence in going through Simsbury procurement to make sure that, their policies are followed. Obviously, we have to keep in mind the state audit. We don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize the eligibility of any of this work. And generally speaking, the state's policy is kind of silent on OSCG's side of life as to how to break a tie. We had heard about the flipping a coin methodology used in the past, and as John Salvatore mentioned, used on a state job. So if one of the members has a coin that they want to flip tonight, we can get this done on the record, and then
No,
Mark
it's not us to do it. That's up to Mark. That's Mark's job, not ours.
Yeah, I think it should be done with both bidders present, and then, then it's binding. Everyone walks away. Like you said, one's going to be happy, going to be unhappy, but
Yeah, both interested parties are there. They should
Right.
be there.
Yep.
Well, if I could just chime in here a little bit. So what's going to happen is part of the process here, though, is as Mark presents these, there is going to need to be a vote on each of these as far as who the people. Our letters have requested the approval to enter into a contract with each of these companies based upon our recommendation. So what I would ask is that for the purposes of tonight, so that we don't have to call a special meeting, is that we modify the letter for the underground detention system to reflect that it is the winner of the coin toss that is to be held in the presence of both of the bidders. So that way that approval is granted by the Public Building Committee. So you don't have to schedule another meeting, a week from now.
Our approvals are based on what you say. There's nothing that we're going to say change this or we're different. As far as your letters are concerned, you're saying that you want us to bid on each one of them and say that Silktown is good, this is good, Custom Electric, so on and so forth. All through this, is that what you want us to do?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not what we.
Yeah, we technically do need a motion to approve. So you guys need to approve us to award to these contractors and suppliers.
Never
The
done that
last
before.
supplier would be,
Never done that with the
Oh.
construction manager. The construction manager approves and they take it on. Our contract is with you, O&G, to build it. You pick on who the hell you want, not us.
Dick, this may not be past practice for the building committee, but it is consistent with every other building committee that I'm working with. So it's not out of bounds for O&G to ask for a motion to approve the contract awards as presented, with the caveat that the detention system be decided by a coin toss. So if we can have a motion along those lines, then we can allow them to move forward and go under contract with these folks.
You want to make that motion, John Salvatore?
I will make that motion.
I will second that motion.
Yes.
Okay.
I will second that motion.
Sounds good. Okay, so those letters are all set then. Okay.
Dick, I have a question when
Yes.
we're discussing the motion.
Yes, Mike.
There were only 2 roofing bids. It sounds like the CM is happy with the bids that came in. Are there going to be any problems going forward that's not enough coverage, or is that not going to be an issue?
You got two of the best roofers around that did it, Mike.
Yeah.
I think as far as there was one third.
I'm talking procedurally, not quality.
No, I think we checked, right, Mark, as far as there's no requirement that it has to be at least 3 or so bidders.
Okay.
Jack, I'm not aware of that. I mean, we've been doing this for many years.
In a public bid situation, as long as we got any response, we've met our obligation. We were fortunate to get 2 responses from 2 qualified bidders, and the numbers were actually under the most recently estimated budget for that
Right.
package. So I think that we're free and clear as far as audit is concerned.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
a question.
Okay.
In regard to all 6 or 7 of these decisions that we're making tonight, these have all been advertised.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So therefore, as Jack is saying, that as long as we've advertised them, whether we get 1 bidder or 10 bidders, we've done what we need to do. We've gotten, in this case, only 2. So that's not an issue.
No. And the state's going to look at these things too and say yes or no. So that's not a problem.
And I had a follow-up question for Mark, going back to the Huntington Power and the Custom Electric. I think is those 2 bids are pretty close together here in the end. Is that correct, Mark?
Yeah, they're within $3,000. If you accept the alternate.
Yeah, on the chart that you gave us, and I see the letter in front of me, and thank you for putting that on the screen. On the chart you gave us, we have Custom Electric. They have 0 for the rigging, which you told people to include it into the price, into the base price of $144.7 in that particular case. Now with Huntington Power, it's $139 at $801 plus $5,500, which means that their price is $145,301. So Custom Electric is still.
It's since been revised because I carried a plug number. I didn't have a real quote when I did that. And Friday morning, I got a price of $1,380 from Walker Crane and Rigging in Plainville.
Okay. So the $1,380
to provide
goes
that service
onto Huntington, and Custom Electric stays the same. Okay. All right.
Correct.
That's good. I just want to clarify that. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. No others? Okay, let's move
Now,
on.
one thing, there is with the generator purchase, there was an alternate that was suggested by the engineer.
Right.
Since we're getting this and we're putting it online, say a year before we're going to finish the building. We need this generator to open the phase 1 new addition, the phase 1 of the construction. So we're going to have this. It's essentially going to be out of warranty or out of contractor supply warranty by the time we finish the project and walk away, because it's going to be operational. For an additional $2,000, we did buy a 2nd-year maintenance contract as an alternate.
That's something you don't talk about. Why would that be added? Why would that be added to a project like this? That should be a price as a contract between the Board of Education and that supplier. That's a service charge. That's not a building charge. It's not part of our building.
I think that's just some special circumstances here, Dick, because of the fact that we're doing this whole pre-bid package
I know.
a
but
year in advance. It only seems to make good sense to try and figure out some way to make sure that whatever is installed has some kind of
I
warranty.
understand, but that should not be
Dick,
not
if
be
I,
there should be. But
okay, if I could say, I think
Mike?
the reason is it's cheaper if you do it, if you given the option to do it now, and I think it's cheaper. It's not uncommon to have an extended warranty as part of the original bid, original purchase.
That should be
So-
part of their package, though.
It is. Well, they're just giving us the option, that's all. Yeah, you could go out and
Especially
purchase it
when we have a-
separately, but it's probably less expensive to include it now than it would be to do it later.
And
Mike,
as
you have a
Mark-
question?
As Mark notes, especially when we have phased construction and we're going to be utilizing this long before the building achieves substantial completion. Substantial completion is usually when the warranty begins, but we're going to be relying on this machine to keep the new addition online. So I think that the exercise of the second year of the warranty is warranted.
So,
second
Hold
year
on,
maintenance
Mike-
contract.
Mike has a question.
Short money.
Mike,
right, what we're talking about is not a warranty. It's preventative maintenance in the second year. And first, whoever buys this and however the phasing happens, that doesn't change that we get a 12-month warranty from date of substantial completion.
right.
So it doesn't matter to us who carries the warranty, but somebody owns a 12-month warranty on this from the date of substantial completion. And we shouldn't have to pay extra
That's right.
because it's being procured ahead of time in a phased project. It's not how the warranty
Mike,
works.
no, Mike, but technically, I don't turn over the entire project. ONG doesn't turn over the entire project to you until the following year. This generator, you will get the 1 year from substantial completion because the generator will be operational and being used for its intended use a year before I turn over everything else. So I guess what I'm saying to you guys is, I'm going to, whether you, I guess, approve this second year maintenance contract or not, I'm going to then, I will buy it. I'm going to buy it somewhere because I agree with you, Mike. I need to give you the, I need to give you that warranty, not the warranty, but the service for the year after. So whether we buy it here or I buy it with the electrical contractor, I'm going to buy it.
That's your business.
It would just make it easier if you guys approve it with this alternate.
But Mark, so what is our approach going to be though when we get to other facets of the work? For instance, the food service equipment, right? When we turn over that addition first, we're going to turn that over a year before the job is totally complete. But when we turn over that new addition, the equipment that is put in place in that building will, if it's started up and commissioned, that will be part of the substantial completion certificate for that first phase, which that is the start of the warranties. So we're not buying.
Dave,
we're not buying extended warranties for everything else on the job, are we? Because I didn't think the state reimbursed for that.
So Dave, what I do, and I didn't do it with the generator because it's a piece of operational equipment, but these guys weren't going to hang around for 2 years. They're a supplier. In order for us to get this, they weren't going to deal with our typical language. But what our typical language says is, if we turn over phase one, say December 1st, 2023, the warranties don't start until all phases are complete. And we do that for the roof. We do it for the mechanical equipment. We do it for the electrical pieces of gear and things like that, and the kitchen equipment. That won't start. Those warranties won't start until substantial completion for the entire project.
Well, Dave, I think part of the confusion is that I used the wrong words. This is a maintenance contract for that intervening year, not an extended warranty. So Mike Egan was accurate in pointing out the difference there.
So getting back to the alternate, I think you're probably better off buying it with this than doing it a different way. If you're saying And I agree with you. It's got to be bought somewhere. I think the overall
Do it
project
now with the
probably saves
package,
money to buy it right now.
Right, do it with the package. We all agree on that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay, Mark, you got it.
So Mark, the only thing there is then that approval letter has to make sure that that alternate is accepted in that approval letter.
Correct.
Right.
I don't believe it is. I don't think it's even mentioned.
No.
It'll
there it
say,
is. Yep.
here's the revised letter. It says we reviewed, plus any accepted alternates. So if you didn't accept the alternate, what I would just say to you is cross this out. Okay, and this may come up later on because we do have some alternates in the second phase. So what we typically do is just cross this out.
No, cross it out and get it to us.
Before you sign the letter.
Yep,
That's
cross it out.
In this case you won't cross it out.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
All right, we'll
I think
cross
we
it out.
still need to vote
You got
on
that copy of
the
that?
motion.
No.
You do need to vote.
I was gonna say, we have a motion and a second. We don't have a vote.
That's correct. We need to vote, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, we need to vote on it, yeah. Okay. We have the motion, we have a second. Now I need to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Would you mind repeating what the motion is?
Okay, can you read back the motion?
The motion was to accept the recommendations for award as presented with the caveat that the underground detention system would be decided by a coin toss.
Determined.
Could be.
Determined.
Okay,
Okay. And the motion was made by who?
John Salvatore,
Yes.
and I seconded, Richard Durr seconded.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, got it then?
Yep.
Good. Okay, any other questions then? Okay, if we can get out this thing off our page here, we get our people back in order.
I'm gonna continue to go. I'm just gonna reiterate
Right.
what both
Right.
Jack and Justin said. State approval and bidding phase 2 work packages. The letter that I sent you Thursday says as of today, as of last Thursday, the town has not received approval. As we discussed earlier, the town did receive approval this morning at 9:36 a.m. We will be out to bid tomorrow. The bid, I'm going to allow 4 weeks, which we previously discussed is tight. I'm going to set the bid date for 3 weeks. We'll probably push it a week. If we do have to, we will push it another week, but I don't want to do that. We will provide scope reviews from 10/13 to 11/11, and then 11/1. And our intent is to be back in front of you on your 11/7 meeting with as many recommendations as possible, so you guys can
See where
go
we're
forward
at.
and make a decision.
Yep, okay,
Yeah, we have we have 21 bid packages in phase 2.
right,
So we will scope them all. We will get through them as quick as we can.
okay, yep.
Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move forward. Next items on our agenda are the bills, of course. What else is new? All right, I have from Cardius, bill invoice number 34317661, the amount of $41,250. For a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay. ONG. Job number, where's your number? Invoice number 586006. $18,760. Bless you.
Bless you.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay. And the next one is TRC. TRC invoice number is, where is their number? Invoice number 547250. The amount of $2,023.75. Your motion,
So moved.
So moved.
so move, second?
Second.
Second, okay. All those in favor, saying aye?
Aye.
Okay, so approved. Okay, any other questions of these invoices? Hearing none. Okay, very quickly, and I think we had this mentioned here a minute ago, but I just want to make sure. As of today, they advertise the project packages and allowing 4 weeks for bidding. Our next meeting that we would have scheduled would be October 3rd, but there's nothing for us to discuss in that. We're suggesting to have, by everybody, the town included, that we have a meeting on 11/7 to review the bids, determine alternates, and final project scope. So
That's November
it'd be
11.
November 7th,
11/7.
11/7. Okay? Do we all agree to that? Okay,
So no October meeting? Is that what you're saying?
no October meeting. Unless something comes up special, we have to have an October meeting. We'll go to a special. But this is the meeting for the bids that are going out right now. And then after that, there's going to be tri-board meetings with the Board of Education, the Board of Selectmen, and the Board of Finance regarding what we set forth that day. Okay, and then back in December, the Board of Selectmen will hopefully then set a referendum date sometime in January. But that's basically where we're at this point, that our next meeting would be November 7th. All right, Bill, you have a question? Oh, sorry.
No.
All right, you're quicker one. Anybody have any questions?
I got one, Dick.
Go ahead, Mike.
O&G, is there any reason to expect the rest of the bids to come in 10% below the estimate?
Who knows?
Anyone's guess.
Mark, I think you're at home right now, so you don't have the 8-ball with you, do you?
I don't have the 8-ball with me. It's in my office. I hope so. It would make things a lot easier for me.
Well, I think the fair question is what are you seeing?
Yeah, well,
What are you seeing now?
we're gonna
What are you seeing
between now and a week from now, we're gonna take a whole bunch of bids on the Torrington High School project. Obviously, much larger in scope, new construction, but we'll get somewhat of a feel there too.
But you haven't had anything in the last week or so that's giving you any indication?
Well, yeah, we had some initial stuff for Torrington come in. Again, slightly different circumstances, slightly different type of project. But we had we had 4 packages.
That's not the only project you're bidding right now, right?
That's the only one we received bids on. We did a small private school, but really not an apples to apples comparison. So
No,
between
it's not.
Torrington is bidding, and then Farmington.
Bill, let's
Farmington's
let him talk and finish before you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry?
Finish. Go ahead. You got a question now? You have
I'm just
another
saying,
question?
what's the trend?
The
sorry?
trend is, unfortunately, things aren't that predictable right now.
Right.
It's not an answer I know you want to hear, but so the turn of the year we bid a school in Manchester. Again, not an apples to apples. It's not a phased renovation. It was a gut, unoccupied renovation that came in under budget. Like Dave says, Torrington received some bids, but again, different circumstances.
Right.
Each one changes weekly.
Yep.
It really does change weekly.
I understand that. I was just asking you, what's this week look like?
We haven't taken any bids this week, so we're taking a whole bunch tomorrow for Torrington.
See what happens. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none. Do I have any problem? Lisa, you have anything you want to say? No? Okay. Anybody else? Any comments? Hearing none. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So move. Second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening, and we'll see you at our next meeting.
Thank you.
Take
Thanks
care.
everyone for your work.